What does the Prime Minister think must be done to stop politically motivated violent extremism that is growing, the white identity motivated violent extremism that is growing, that relate to anti-Semitism, anti-rainbow, anti-Māori and anti-Pacific ideologies as identified in New Zealand's Security Threat Environment 2023 report released last week?
Mr Speaker, there are many things that we can do, but I think one of the things that we can all do as political leaders is to lead by example, and the other thing is when we see that behaviour we can call it out.
Supplementary.
Rawiri Waititi.
Does the Prime Minister agree with the judgment if we've got the Leader of ACT chiming in about law and order, but is first to get name suppression for his president for heinous crimes?
Point of order.
Point of order, David Seymour.
Mr Speaker, I invite you to reflect and perhaps seek advice. The member has just speculated that a particular individual has name suppression and is guilty of heinous crimes. Both of those are in contempt of court, and due to the long tradition of comity between this House and the courts, to make such statements are deeply disorderly, bring the House into disrepute, and should face very severe consequences from you, Mr Speaker. I can't believe, frankly, what I've just heard. The tikanga of this House is well known and should be respected.
I'd like everyone to calm down, thank you. There's a very clear procedure about what the member is talking about. He has that open to him if he wishes to take that course of action.
Does he stand by his statement in response to questions about Labour's low polling, quote, "We're going to fight back," end quote, and is mischaracterising what other people say for political advantage? Part of his, quote, "fight back," and New Zealanders know it, and they're deserting him at the polls by the thousand every week.
Just apologise, David.
Mr Speaker, coming from a member who's being propped up by a bunch of anti-vax conspiracy theorists, I think that question's a bit rich.
Does he stand by the statement he made yesterday that, quote, "I believe all political leaders have a responsibility to take care in the statements they make about all of New Zealand's citizens and groups, and we have a particular duty of care to ensure that the statements we make don't inflame tensions," end quote. And if he really believes that, why did he mischaracterise my criticism of wasteful spending at a government department as an attack on an entire ethnic group?
Mr Speaker, yes, and it's a matter for the member to clarify what it was he was intending when he said he thought that sending Guy Fawkes into the Ministry of Pacific Island People was an appropriate thing to do.
How can he stand by his statement that, quote, "political leaders have a responsibility to take care in the statements that they make," end quote, while at the same time making factually incorrect statements and standing by them today when they introduce race into a debate where it never needed to be?
All government spending is open to scrutiny, and it's possible to do that without talking about blowing people up.